Robert and Frederick leap into the truck, and the brief conversation that happens is they're going to check out the orange glow that is the furthest away from the other four. And it's agreed that you three will go check out the other explosions, as it were, since they are in somewhat closer proximity. Who, outside of Robert, who obviously brought their truck, would anybody else have brought their own vehicle, or are we hoofing it or hot wiring another vehicle here?
My understanding was we all piled in the truck.
I will go with that. Bishop is not for the hot wiring tracks type.
Yeah. So we've got two vehicles, right?
Nope. That's what's being said. Is
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we can let's all pile in. Why not?
All right. If no space, I'm in the back. Could be.
I believe that is the issue, is they're taking off to a different location than you guys are. So there's going to be no vehicle then.
So perhaps what we said is there's the outlier out there. We can't get to it without the truck. There's a close fire that we can hoof it. So we three will hoof it. They go off to see what's so special about that last location.
Okay. So, hoof it. Yep. Let's go for a little stroll.
All right.
I would like to gear up first. If anyone would like to visit the armory. Or if anyone was wondering why I don't have any money.
Money well spent is what we are talking about. I have my pistol. I mean, I have it with me. It's a bit discreet, but I am carrying with me. So I have what I need.
Sasha's just going to look at her truncheon and her jacket and just say, I don't think we're going to be welcomed running up to a fire with a bunch of guns. So.
That too.
All right, I'll just take a shotgun.
Is anybody else getting double from live? I'm seeing.
I'm hearing one.
Let me try my settings. Hold on.
There we go. I only heard one there.
Might be looping through another one. Mic test, mic test. Yeah, I heard that.
One more time, so I can see who's
Mic test. It's Martin.
Martin.
Is that me? Where would that be coming?
It's coming from your speakers. I don't know your headset speakers or your computer speakers, but yeah, Live's voice is coming.
Yours is as well, slightly as well.
Let's try. Is it coming through me again, or is it done now?
Mic test, mic test. Little bit.
Little bit. Where would that be coming from? Let me just check this.
But I noticed it's coming ever so slightly through on Wyverians as well.
Oh, on mine?
Yeah, very slightly.
That's the first time this has ever happened to me.
Really? Yeah.
Try now?
Mic test.
Through Martin, but not through me that time. Okay, I just pulled my mic away.
I can... Is that making a difference?
Not one thing, it's another. There's always technical difficulties.
Is it better now?
Okay, mic test, mic test, mic test. I think we're good.
Alright.
Alright. I just reduced the volume a little bit so it's not bleeding out.
Ah, okay. Thanks.
No worries.
So, It looked like Edward was going to say something before we got into that little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, I will take a shotgun.
Gonna conceal it in any way, or...
I got open carry.
Alright. As you guys begin to hoof it towards the nearest of the locations, why don't you give me a perception check?
Everyone, right?
Everyone.
And that's perception check is what?
Wits plus composure.
Whiz.
Okay. Woo!
Whoa.
Whew.
Right.
That's not bad at all.
Edward and Bishop, you see what you would expect to see in such a situation, as it were. There's quite a bit of traffic, given the time of day, of people trying to leave the area. Any residential districts you pass by, don't believe there's a lot in this particular of the area. It's mostly businesses, but there are a few houses as you cross, as you go a little bit further down Port Street, away from the church, past the embassy suites that are now burned down as well. That's where most of the traffic is coming. Most people are, you can hear people shouting, "Get into the car!" You hear cars starting up and begin to leave. Sasha, on the other hand, being a little bit more perceptive than your other cellmates, because just because you got 4 and not 5, I still feel like you get a little bit more from the situation.
Appreciated.
The emergency response, you would expect something pretty heavily handed, especially when it comes to explosives going off in a city. Don't hear any sirens. Don't hear any police or fire trucks, ambulance. You also don't hear any sort of, I want to say the air raid siren, but obviously that's not quite what I'm in my head, but you know, a more larger warning siren to indicate severe danger. It's still early, but those explosions were loud, and you would expect some sort of almost immediate response of some sort. But there's nothing.
Especially if we've been going for a while at a light jog or a Roman march or something.
Yeah. There's just nothing.
So Sasha's definitely going to point out, hey, where are all the first responders? How do we beat all the fire trucks here?
I don't know if I want to know the answer to that question.
Is it too early, or do we hear the sirens at all?
No, there are no sirens.
Sasha, this is indeed odd. With maybe this many there, like we are not hearing any sirens, or we are hearing sirens going the other directions. Like there's number of fires.
Absolutely nothing.
Something is genuinely odd. Maybe we should call 911 and speak with a dispatcher.
I mean, someone should have already called. I mean, 911 should know, but, like, maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't. I'm gonna pull up my phone and basically 911 and call dispatcher. I mean, nobody's coming up. We are geared for some type of things, but putting out a fire is not one of them. So,
911, what's your emergency?
hello. We are at the corner of so on and so forth, and we are looking for. There's a fire going on here, and there's a few fires going on. But in this one in particular, we are not hearing any emergency service response here. We are just checking if you received a call, or is there something going on we should know about? Maybe evacuation or something?
Roll. This would be roll wits empathy.
Wits and empathy. All right. Okay, wits and empathy. Okay. I do have evangelism. I don't have a specialization. No matter. Okay. Let me just roll that, and yes. Yes, I did.
There's a level of calmness to her voice. You expect a certain level of calmness from an from a 911 operator. They're trained specifically to keep their calm in high stress situations. But there's a lack of concern in her voice that you're able to pick up on as she kind of goes, all available personnel are currently busy assisting other people at this time.
I'm putting it on speaker, by the way, just so all of us are hearing. It's not just me. I put it on speaker. Just put it on mute for a second. Does this sound normal to you?
And by the time you've even finished those words, the dial tone comes up as she ends the call.
That's not my experience normal. I've been in a few cases that I had to call 911. As you know, in the parish, there are a few OD cases that I had to respond on. They are much more this just doesn't happen. If you call 911, you end up disconnecting. They send a patrol car to investigate. Their policies in place. This doesn't make sense. Something is not right here.
Eyes open. Something
Whatever if whatever caused the explosion has the ability to get 911 to not respond, I'm wondering what we're getting into here.
Well, you know my policy. Let's not stand around and talk about it.
We know your policy very well. Yes. I mean, we can just go in and help with one place at a time, but I think we have to get engaged with this by ourselves. If you guys are thinking differently, otherwise we are gonna go in and see what's going on.
If we don't look, we'll never know.
We won't.
You get to
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, you get to the stoplight of, it would be Court Street and Don Alley, I guess is how it would maybe be pronounced. Just on the other side, you can see the fires just on the other side of the 64. Most of you are not necessarily from the city, but you're all relatively from the West Virginia area, and you correct?
Yeah.
Yep. I'd agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Placing this would either place it as the Gray Bar, which is an electrical supply store, or the Habitat for Humanity building. At least, from where you're currently at, you're not entirely sure which one it is.
Okay. Do we see anything out of the ordinary in terms of, you would expect people to come, like there's a bit of a chaos maybe going towards or fro, or streets are empty, anything that stands out?
Most of that is going to be happening, since you're facing that direction, it would be to your left, to the north, where it's mostly residential houses. You do see people hitting that street. Dawn Alley to your left is just completely packed. People are starting to run the light just to try and get out of this particular area.
Okay.
So,
I think we better rush and see if there's nothing extraordinary. I'm voting for, if we can sprint a bit, let's reach that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sprinting, that is still a good walk. Give me athletics plus stamina if you're actually sprinting it.
I'm actually going to slow down a bit and keep an eye sort of turning around occasionally. But I will hold back slightly, take something of a rear guard.
I am also keeping pace with Martin, and I have a specialty in sprinting. So that's an extra die. Ooh, okay.
Since Edward's you're not trying to keep pace, you're still sticking somewhat behind them. I'll give you a +1 to the roll because you're not gonna wind yourself quite nearly as much if you fail.
3.
So all of you are able to keep your pace somewhat throughout. It's not an easy jog still, though. As you get past where the 64 turns into the 77, see the United Way of Central West Virginia on your right. It becomes very apparent. It is Habitat for Humanity building that is the one that's in smoke right now. Thankfully, it's probably after hours, so death toll is not going to be a major concern. At least you hope.
Breathing masks. Should have bought breathing masks.
Is there like a crowd around it already? People watching, people trying to do, or nobody?
There are a few people around. But as you watch them, they're loading things into a van. Anybody that is driving, they're not stopping by to look at this. They're driving straight on through.
Those loading stuff into a van, are they escaping or are they looters?
Not quite close enough. You would be probably on Dryden Street, so not quite close enough to make out that type of visual at this point. But certainly close enough to start making out that there's people here and about. For those that need a visual representation, posted the map.
I'm just going to take. Is there anything on the van, distinctive markings or even the license plate from a distance that I could see, or what does it look like?
You wouldn't be able to make a license plate out from this distance. Well, not without aid. If you're using your phone
With the camera, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At least take a few shots with the van and the people, take some zoom shots, because it may look like... Does it look like they're gonna get away before we arrive? Like, can I even guess?
They
Probably
are...
depends how much they have to load.
That's the... Yeah.
That is the thing. You're not sure how much they have to load.
Mm-hmm.
They also are acting somewhat strangely. You're not...
Can we tell? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can we tell if they're armed? Does it look? Are they like? Do they visibly like have open carry guns or on the belt or things like that? Yeah.
Nothing like that you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a lookout?
Or a guard or somebody with some gun or something. Or everybody's loading it.
Everybody's loading it, but the way they're behaving is they are being very methodical and slow. Whenever they grab something, they make sure to take kind of a wide path around the building to grab whatever they're getting. It seems like if they're looters, they've already dragged everything that they want out. So they're just collecting the stuff. But everything's already in boxes.
Was I able to get some shots, like the van and close-up of people, or whatever I'm trying to get? I'm while running, I'm doing best to get some shots.
As you continue to approach, as you stated, you're still running.
Yes.
Going to make a roll.
This can only be good.
As you get a little bit closer, you see them start to move a little bit faster. You can see them start gesturing. Their voices are slowly coming within earshot. People are coming. We gotta get out of here. First moths to the flame.
Lucius, right?
Are you shouting that out to them?
No, I'm asking you as questions to GM.
I'm not answering that.
Okay, I will call out to them. It's the.
I'm not answering that.
How about you stay right where you are? That's full intimidation.
Just at the level that Edward could hear. Edward didn't skipped a few steps in escalation. We first warn, talk, then pull the gun. We talked about this back in the HQ.
The conversation seems to have escaped my memory.
I know your heart is in the right place. So
So
We're going to talk. Fear is a powerful motivator.
it's that it is.
Racking the shotgun as part of intimidation. Go ahead and add, I would say, an equipment modifier, but weapons don't really have an equipment modifier. And I feel like saying add the damage of a shotgun to your roll is a little...
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a little much. But go ahead and take a +1 for a situational bonus.
Yeah, but it gives 5. Oh,
Ooh.
One of the scruffier looking ones kind of turns and laughs. Gonna have to get a lot closer than that for that gun to scare us, and quite frankly, that gun's not gonna scare us.
you have some toys of your own, I assume.
Is that a normal response? I mean, it just doesn't feel like a normal response to me. If somebody's coming with a shotgun and this person just went back to loading, just couldn't care and...
Oh no,
back.
he's not loading. He has now completely turned his attention to the three of you and is actively like he's doing the typical. He's stretching his body up and out to make himself look a little bit bigger than what he probably is. But even though he's kind of scruffy in appearance, he doesn't seem to be out of shape by any stretch of the imagination.
Just so we are clear,
these days.
is sunlight up or is this evening? Like what hour of the day that we are at?
This is nighttime. This is
Nighttime.
evening.
It's evening. Okay. I'm just gonna move it out a little bit, Edward, to take lead as he's going with the shotgun, more like wingman. I'm on the slightly to the left side. I'm gonna pull my gun too, as now things got to a bit of a head.
Sasha?
I'm gonna slightly get behind the men with the guns.
Alright, so you got something to stand up to us, tough guy. I get it. I would have been here myself once, making the most of it. Everyone's scared to the winds. Grab a couple of things, head on out. So, how about you tell us what you saw? Anything you saw around here, people, vehicles, whatever. Not the people running, people that were here with purpose. You go your way, we go ours. Nobody needs to get hurt, including me.
This gentleman takes a step forward, menacingly. When a woman places her hand on his shoulder, you see her shake her head, telling him not to bother with it. She seems almost the exact opposite of this person. While this guy is very extremely well built, kind of scruffy looking, she's very small compared to him. And scruffy is probably the word furthest from her. Her hair is put in a very tight bun. She's wearing a blazer, slacks, kind of looks over. Now. There's no reason for any more blood to be spilled tonight.
I put the shoulder strap back over. I'm glad to hear it.
Now, that being said, that does depend on this conversation here because, well, seems like things have gotten off a little bit on the wrong foot.
Are you saying that, and Sasha's pointing at the burning building, is according to plan?
Look, you seem like nice enough people. Despite pulling firearms, within about 3 seconds of me somebody, but she kind of puts her hands up like this. You know, I'm given the situation, I can see why you might feel it was warranted, so I'm not gonna pursue that course any further. To answer your question, a little bit of family squabbling is going on.
Bishop feels something is off with this conversation. Is there something about the way that they are talking or walking, especially with this lady, that I foresee maybe she's possessed by a poltergeist?
You're gonna have to give me a roll. That's gonna be wits plus empathy.
Oh, sympathy. All right. Okay. I'm gonna do it. Poltergeist. I think I know what's going on here. Very loud, very low tone of voice. I'm gonna say, dramatic fader. I will take.
All right. Okay. Dramatic failure. I mean, at this point, there's only one thing a dramatic failure says. You're even more convinced. Like, crucifix is coming out, Bible's coming out, you know.
Very low tone of voice. Guys, keep her talking. He's a poltergeist. I'm
Sasha,
reaching for the Bible.
so Sasha's gonna reach so that she has her truncheon like almost in grip, but is also kind of aware that it looks like she's reaching into her jacket, but not directly just drawing something out.
She does take a few steps forward, now placing her in front of the other individual who has now kind of taken a more at ease position on the side of the van, kind of leaning back against it, arms crossed, just kind of staring at the situation.
They military.
As she kind of walks forwards.
So here we are. We talk.
Exactly. We talk. And I am a roll. This. I want to roll this. And I think I want okay, hold on. So, right now, I want everybody to talk, and that all.
Oh.
So, what are you doing out here this very... I don't want to call it a lovely night, because obviously there's a burning building behind us. Night of troubles. Let's call it what it may appear to be to you.
Well, it appears like people could be in distress because of the explosions, which is why we're here to help.
Regular good Samaritans.
Bishop is just trying to guess what are we looking at, what kind of poltergeist we are dealing with.
Continues to approach slowly. She has gotten to the point where raised voices aren't needed. She's close enough to where an actual conversation can be had. Still somewhat at a distance, though, but enough to where your normal voice will carry just as well. Well, to meet some good Samaritans in this day and age is, well, quite refreshing, honestly. How much trouble there is in the world. I can ascertain that that collateral damage was kept to a minimum.
So this is your doing.
There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes currently in the world that make certain conversations like this a little difficult. I hate having to be so obtuse about my words. If it were up to me, would like to roll, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
I have one question on that. Is there, because she's smooth talking us, but am I picking up on any anger beneath that? I have a specialization for empathy in angry people.
I'll let you roll that specialty to be able to see if there is any anger.
Okay. I mean, it's not like there's a raging beast inside them.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Requiem, so this would be Predator's Taint or whatnot. Sorry. Anyway.
Aspects, second edition. There's multiple beasts. It gets convoluted.
I'm preparing to pull the rosary and start the exorcism. I'm seeing that this poltergeist is gutsy, very personable too. Trying to classify what type of it we have.
So
You were taking photos with your phone, right?
I did, and I was taking picture while going towards that. I don't know if I've seen anything different.
So, I'm going to start with Bishop, and then I'll move on to what Sasha gets. Bishop, when she says that specifically, if it's not up to me, you get the distinct sense that she's probably high enough up in whatever food chain she's a part of that to some degree it is up to her.
So lying is a bit of a...
More of a half-truth. She's high enough on the food chain where unless somebody around her is higher, she can get away with what she wants, essentially. So basically, unless she's in the presence of a superior, she can get away with it. If she happens to be, then she probably can't. One of those things. Mid-level management, as it were.
I see. That's what we are looking at. Bishop is looking at it. Poltergeist hierarchy. Just so she could hear. We know what you are. So
to go and now to go with Sasha.
Yeah, go.
There is anger. The anger is somewhat subsiding, though. There seems to be a bit of vindication that you're feeling, some righteous vindication, as it were, as she kind of talks. And she gets ready to continue with what she was saying. Then she turns to Bishop and kind of, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
I said we know what you are. Poltergeist. You can't drop the pretense.
I'm actually gonna composure here. Straight composure. Well, no, actually, I will roll socialize as well because this would be a major faux pas. She stifles a laugh. I'm sorry. Are we gonna start saying that little leprechauns are gonna start dancing at the end of rainbows now?
Take it back. We know what you are, so if you repent and join us, all will be forgiven. This is time of tribulations, my child.
She does take a little bit of a step back, more so not really to a little bit to get away from Bishop, but also to kind of put herself in a position where she can have eyes on all three of you. And then she then addresses the Sasha and Edward as she maneuvers herself to have her be able to make eye contact with you. Is your friend okay? I can't lie, he's making me a little...
Yeah, it's good days and bad days.
I mean, so do we all.
Gets an idea in his head, runs with it.
The difference is our good days don't involve destroying habitat for humanity. Why are you happy that place is gone?
Told you I kept collateral damage to minimum. It wasn't the building in of itself. It was certain persons that were using the building at this time of night, and I mean, after what they did to us last night, was only one. It's one of those things.
That was your family's hotel?
Oh, that wasn't the only place that got burnt down. That one. It's it's a very confusing time right now in my family. You have two sides of the family that have been going at each other for years and years and years. And then you have this third kid that is supposedly related to the family, but nobody can ever remember how he's related. And then they're just absolutely, for lack of a better term, rabid dogs.
Well, yeah, we're confused. How much more confused are the people out there that don't see any of this and are getting caught in the crossfire? People died in the hotel. And you're saying that no one died here?
Well, I stated there was no collateral damage except for specific persons and people, but they were... I hate using this term because it makes me sound so cruel, but the only word that comes to mind is targets. They were members of my extended family that were part of some of the incidents last night. And to prevent further incidents, she kind of gestures to the fire behind her.
You can't assassinate someone with a bomb. Not that size.
I mean, my concern is, what about the retaliation? They hit you, you hit them here. When are they coming back to get you?
I mean, hold on a second. Are you telling us that you poltergeists are offing each other? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think they're both guys no more.
Edward,
Just throwing out there a crazy idea, maybe.
Edward, who's like? I have the little holy water out there. I'll show you. Of course, we gave you a quarter, and you refused and tried to, gave us the word of Satan. So I have nothing left.
She's literally looking at Sasha and Edward like, how am I being a bad guy here? Like, I've been nothing but cordial here. You know, that kind of exasperated look of like, what do I need to do to say that, to stop this person from throwing stuff at me?
It's holy water that I collect. So it's a little bit of this. It's burning, effective, nothing. No.
You're actually.
Yes, I.
No effect. She kind of goes like this as water gets in her eyes, and she's blinking really heavily. Actually, give me a roll on that. Wits plus empathy. Actually, no. Do wits, composure, perception. Actually, I think would be a better roll.
Wits and composure. I'm about to
Just
do
Martin?
that.
No, because she is facing everybody.
Oh, my absolutely amazing contribution here. No,
No wits, composure.
I've got 2 wits and no composure. Oh, sorry, wits composure. Sorry, I thought we said wits.
Edward, Sasha, there's no harm in dramatic faders.
Well, Edward's got to re-roll here because.
Just 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's acting as if somebody being hit in the face with water would do, kind of blinking, wiping, However, Bishop and Edward, you can tell the blinking is deliberate. It's delayed. It's just a small thing, like reading a micro expression. But she's definitely getting ready to say the dumbest words I've ever said in my life, I think. Blinking manually.
Yeah.
And now everybody's blinking manually.
Fake blinking.
Oh,
should-
I'm gonna
Looking at his.
hold on. I'm gonna right. Can I do? I will do an intelligence or wits occult on this one.
Okay.
I want to try and identify. Obviously, as a player, I know, but is there anything I can roll?
There is an identification tactic that can be used.
I just want to see if there's something I can roll for the hunch.
Gut feeling.
Gut is wits occult.
Which occult? I have that too. I want to do it. Something is definitely off here.
No, nothing.
Out of 6 dice.
I am rolling terribly. So bad.
Something is not right, Bishop. Obviously, if it was a poltergeist, you would have expected more of a response to the holy water. However, their response is awkward as well because the manual blinking means they know that they should be blinking during this time, but they don't actually feel the need to blink.
Am I at least reasonably certain something supernatural that is there? Something that is not a poltergeist, perhaps, but a supernatural at the very least.
I'm not going to say yes to the supernatural, but certainly something that is not following normal physiological responses.
All right.
Whether that's due to some condition or supernatural instance, that still remains to be seen, but there is something off.
Maybe she's on drugs.
There it is.
So, you settle things up with your family? How about you go your way, we go ours? Never see each other again.
I'm looking at Edward with my... I mean, if she's not looking at me, I'm saying no with my face.
And I'm going to do something which I was going to do as a test. Now I can potentially reason it in ignorance. Edward is going to light his cigarette. What do you say? I realise that this might result in me getting mauled.
We got your back, Edward.
Okay, what is specific role? Because that is a very specific role. But I also...
Ross check. Doesn't it resolve composure? -1?
It's right on here. Okay, suggested modifier. Oh, okay. Class of small fire torch. That wouldn't even this wouldn't classify as a torch.
Just like a zipper or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's been very fun playing with you.
And on a 0 on the composure roll.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Hunter the Vigil, Critical Measures, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, why must those who hunt monsters hunt themselves?